Hi there and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Shivan and I'm a final year medical student studying at King's College London, and today I have here with me Shreya. So we have a really interesting video lined up for you today because it's not just going to be me talking. I have Shreya with me and we're going to take you through how to apply for a master's degree at one of the best universities in the world, which is Imperial College London. But again, if you're new here and you haven't had a chance to do this already, go check out my YouTube channel because over there I make videos about medical school, university, lifestyle and travel. And check out my videos. If there's something you'd be interested in, something you'll enjoy, then definitely smash that subscribe button and join me for a lot more. So Shreya here has studied a master's at Imperial College London, so she's really an expert on the topic and she's going to take you through how to apply for a master's at Imperial College London successfully, how to get in, and all the nuances and all the things you really need to know about studying a master's at Imperial. So let's not waste any time and let's get straight into it. So Shreya, do you want to start by just introducing yourself a bit?
Yeah, I'm Shreya. I did my undergrad at King's in biomedical sciences, and last year I just finished my master's at Imperial in healthcare management, and currently I'm working in the field of revenue management.
Amazing. Okay, so you studied biomedical science at the undergrad level and then you studied management at Imperial. So what made you make the switch from biomed management?
I just wanted to do something more business related. Like, I've always wanted to do that. I also knew I didn't want to be in a field that was so research extensive, so I decided to make the switch to healthcare management.
And what made you apply to Imperial?
It's just always been one of my dream universities. Obviously the people I've heard are amazing, the teaching is also spectacular, and the research that they do and the reputation that they have always sort of drew me towards applying to Imperial, which is why I ended up doing my master's there.
And I'm assuming there was something about the course that attracted you as well?
Definitely, it was all the different modules that I was going to do and delve into. It was also the healthcare sector project that we do, the entrepreneurship module where you literally get to come up with your own business idea, develop prototypes and present that to real life investors, who actually may end up potentially investing in your business later on. So all of that obviously contributed to me applying to Imperial.
Okay, right. So I guess it's important to find a course that really appeals to you, and I think there are a lot of great options at Imperial. Yeah. And it's definitely good to investigate that before you apply, because no matter where you study your master's, you need to make sure you're studying the right degree. So definitely do what Shreya just said and do some research on those modules before you apply to that master's program. Right, so now can you tell me what were the key components of your application to this master's program?
So initially, to start off with, you need to have a minimum grade of at least 2-1. I'm not entirely sure what it's like with other countries, but in the UK at least, it probably is a 2-1. It might be different for different universities, but for most it's 2-1. You also need to have a personal statement that is broken down into several parts. It's very different to your usual personal statement, so you don't need to prepare one essay. It's essentially writing multiple paragraphs based on the questions that they ask you. And if that ends up going through, then you also have a video interview, which is a part of your application, and then they look at your application as a whole and then see whether or not you're suitable for the course.
Okay, fine. So you have your grades, you have your personal statement, which is broken down into questions at Imperial, and then you have interviews.
Yes.
Is that correct? Is there anything else? No, those are the main parts. Yeah. So you told us about the entry requirements being a 2-1. So if you're not studying in a university that rates your degree as first class 2-1, etc., and uses a different system, then you can just go onto Imperial's website and you can go onto the course you want to study and you can check out the entry requirements, and it'll detail what exactly your entry requirements are based on what you're studying. Right, so you told us about the required grades. Now, what are some other activities, some other experiences you had, or things you did to build up your profile before applying to Imperial which helped you with your application?
Because obviously I come from a biomedical sciences background, which is quite different to what I wanted to do at Imperial. I took a lot of initiative where I joined societies relating to my degree at Imperial, and then I took up leadership positions within those societies, and also managed to write things such as articles and essays for these societies. Again, it was all relating back to the course that I wanted to do, so that I showed a lot of initiative from my side. I did do some work experience and some internships as well, which didn't directly relate to what I wanted to do, but again, I think they do really care about the skill set that you acquire from these experiences and how you can apply that to the course that you want to apply for.
So more than the experiences you have and the things that you do, it's more about the skills that you learn from these things that you're doing rather than the activities that you're doing themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Alright. So basically you're saying things like writing articles, maybe having some work experience, whether or not it's directly related to your course, and joining relevant societies and stuff like that. That was the sort of main gist of what you did. Is that right?
Yeah.
So those are some kind of things that you can look at if you're looking to build up a good profile for your application. So now can you tell us, how do you write a good or a great or the perfect personal statement to get into Imperial?
One, you have to be really honest in your application. Because if you try and do too much or try and portray a personality that isn't yours, it is going to show in your application. So just be very honest about any experiences you've had, even though they may not relate to the course that you want to do. Secondly, definitely show a lot of initiative, especially if your course does not relate to something that you have done prior to that.
Be transparent, show initiative, and I think those are the cornerstones of writing a good personal statement. Yeah? All right. And then what happens after you've submitted your grades and your personal statement and your application?
So if that ends up going through and you do end up being successful in that first round of your application, then you do get invited for a video interview. I'm not entirely sure if they're still doing that, but they did do that in my year. And then it's a video interview. It's not a face-to-face interview. And again, you can do that in the comfort of your own home. You're given a deadline, so you have to complete it before that time. But yeah, that's essentially what you need to do. And then if that ends up going through as well, then you will end up getting the offer.
I think one of the key components of interview prep always is to just try and practice with people as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you speak your answers out loud, that's when you really get used to sort of actually answering questions versus just writing down answers or listening to information and stuff like that. Actually practice speaking, because that's what you're going to be doing in the interview.
You do have some resources as well. So I think there's a podcast, if I'm not wrong. I think you can provide the link for that below. But in that podcast, they really sort of go in a lot of depth about what they're looking for in a candidate and in an interview and what they expect from you in that interview. So I think that's definitely really good to look at as well.
I'll definitely link that down below, so go check it out. So one important point that we forgot to cover was fees for a master's at Imperial. So a master's at Imperial costs somewhere between £15,000 and £25,000 a year if you're a home student, so you're from the UK. If you're not from the UK, it's going to be north of £40,000, nearing all the way up to £45,000 to £50,000 as well. There are opportunities for financial aid, so as always, look on Imperial's fees and funding pages and look out for scholarships that may be available for the course that you want to study. And now, do you have any final bits of key advice for your overall application if someone's thinking of applying to Imperial in the future or in the coming year or anything like that?
One is definitely research the course as much as you can, because it is something that you should want to do and it's not going to be easy. So again, like, you really have to sort of want to do the course, and you should know it you should know what you're getting into before you apply for that course. Secondly, I'd say definitely just be really confident in your own capabilities, because when you are nervous, that doesn't only just show in your interviews but also in your application. So just be really confident about, you know, your skill set and your experiences, because obviously there's no experience that's better than the other. Yeah, and that's essentially how they're going to view your application. So yeah, I think those two pieces of advice would be key to a good application, or an application that stands out.
And now lastly, can you tell us what you're doing now after your degree at Imperial?
So I'm currently working in revenue management. It's in the hospitality sector. So again, not related to what I had done at Imperial, but again, I think that's the good part about studying at Imperial, because it does allow you to branch out to so many different disciplines. And I wouldn't say revenue management doesn't relate to what I did, but again, it's looking at two very different sectors.
Yeah, I guess life is just a set of stepping stones, and you go from one place to another, and sometimes you may not always end up going in the direction that you thought you'd go, but each step leads you to the next one, about whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's good to know that Imperial really set you up for getting a job that you like, or doing something that you like afterwards. And I think Imperial in general is a university that really focuses on employability.
Yeah.
Hence they want you to know what you want to do afterwards and have a plan for your future as well.
Yeah.
When you're applying to the university. So yeah, that's great to know. It means that I guess this video is going to help you get in for a master's at Imperial, and a master's at Imperial is going to help set you up for the future. But yeah, I think that's a wrap on everything we needed to discuss today about how to study a master's at Imperial College London. Thank you to Shreya for providing us with all this really key insider information about studying at Imperial and how to study at Imperial. I hope the video was helpful. I hope you found it interesting, and if you did, definitely drop a like down below on this video. Smash that subscribe button to join me for a lot more. I don't know about Shreya, but I will see you in the next one.